Welcome back, everyone, and Sentinels picks up the win in overtime. And the game started off scrappy, but then we started to see some pretty interesting ideas from both squads across the board. Unfortunately for KRU, no win there, but they're still looking for it in map 2. Hello, everyone. I'm Golden Boy. Welcome back. You got Sideshow as well as Benita here, and let's just jump right into this and break it all down, shall we? Because there's still a lot of questions about really both of these teams, even after this first map concludes here. Sentinels, yes, they pick up the win, Sideshow, but man, I'm so curious about what's going to happen in map 2.
Yeah, I mean, everything is still up in the air. That map was up in the air, to be honest. The Sentinels players were still pretty confident going towards the end. And just to retouch on what I was talking about at the halftime, I was just listening to them on their attack side as well. Marv was having a lot more input towards the beginning of the half too. And then you saw that same kind of Zekken and Sassy really helping him tons towards the end to lock that one out, including another really good timeout from Kaplan, who looks like he's trying his best to keep the ship on course.
Yeah, and speaking of timeouts, as a matter of fact, Sentinels had actually called a timeout. And Benita, you pointed this out, that one of the problems KRU was having was really just understanding when to hit the go button.
Yeah, this round really caught my eye. Sentinels called a timeout, and KRU had a perfect adjustment during the timeout. They had a great call, great read on the round, but they just took way too long to do their plan. They just they took the orb, kind of waited around for a little bit, and then it was already too late at that point. They had 3 rotates over into Sentinels had 3 rotators already.
I actually really liked the overall macro stuff that I was seeing from Sentinels the deeper we got into the game. Doug and Bala were talking about how the final round was a pump fake into C, where they drew out all of that Killjoy utility, the nanoswarm.
Well, and that was the problem I was seeing a lot during the game as well, was that they weren't breaking any utility. They weren't trying to like make presence felt anywhere else in the beginning of the game, especially, you know, when KRU were on the attack. It just constantly felt like it was going one way, it didn't work, go the other way, maybe that works, okay. And then they found that recipe for success that made it into OT.
Yeah, I'll tell you who was incredibly impressive, though, in the comms and in the server, Zekken. He's just an absolute beast. He's an all-round player, an absolute total package. And yeah, this season hasn't been great for the team that he's on, but he's still world-class. Yeah. And he really has stepped up. He's playing a different role, one that you know a lot about, Benita, and he's doing tons of the calling for them.
Yeah, fantastic player. This is a player where you put him on any agent, it doesn't matter. You're going to get the same result, great results, and he's going to make so much impact on any agent. It just doesn't matter. And
I also think, too, putting him on this particular role reminds me a lot of Tui's. And I talked about it extensively. You know, when they brought Tui's and Kamanzine into the team, Fraud was telling us how, you know, they were duelist players, right? And he wanted to teach them how to play other roles. We're starting to see that happen more and more. And Zekken going into this role, into the Omen role, is actually fantastic because it doesn't really put the pressure on him to have to be the star duelist guy that Zekken can be. He could just do his thing, be self-sufficient, and have an impact on the server. And that's what happened in map 1.
Yeah, he's also not dying at the beginning of round, so he's able to have a lot of impact throughout the round as well. Now, what I'm interested in, though, is what they do with him moving on to map 2, because he's probably going to be pairing up with TenZ in a double duelist duo. So that, to me, is the interesting part. Are we going to see Zekken pick up controller on Bind when they already have Marv and Pancada? That doesn't make sense. So I think the roles are still going to be in flux.
Yeah, that is very, very true. But before we head into map 2, though, of course, as always, we'll do a little quick stop. Aim Lab shoot around, shall we? We got TenZ here, because why not? He's in town, so let's go ahead and do it. And you know, speaking of TenZ, one thing I do want to commend him for, Benito, was that in that game, you could really just see how selfless he was playing. Yeah. Like, he understood what his role was, right? Neon, there's only 2 things that happen with Neon. You either go in there and you slide on your knees and you make some great plays, or you slide and you die. And that happened a few times, unfortunately.
He had a slow start, which is really common with Neon. You just kind of run in and die, and then as the game goes on, you find your way in, and towards the end, he had really good, big impact kills.
Yeah, again, I'm interested to see what they do on Bind. They have the option of just running TenZ on solo Raze. That would be the standard, I would say, for most teams, but we've seen teams run double duelist, and that's been something that Sentinels have run a lot when TenZ has been in on the roster. Alternatively, I suppose they could run TenZ on Sage too, because that was what they ran on Split way back when.
True.
And they could have Zekken pick up the solo Raze. So frankly, the options are completely open to this team. And we have no data to go on, frankly, because they've again just moved all of their roles around, moved their roster around, but it does make things very interesting. And that is what the team is looking at. What are the best options going towards LCQ? What are the best options long-term for this team? Because just because your season might end up being over, the year is not.
Okay, Tens locks in the Jet. What are we gonna get? So no Tens raise. So at the very, you're either getting double duelist or you're gonna get some
I still
wonkiness.
think we're gonna get a raise here.
Wouldn't be shocked.
Yeah, I think the double duelist makes a lot of sense. You're expecting Sassy to pick up the Sky. Sassy was amazing too. Round 25, that 2K that he had in Tree, absolutely game-changing. And Kesnit picks up the raise. Last time this team played Bind, it was last year, and they had, I believe, Ashedi playing raise for them. It was a totally different roster. Neither of these teams have any wins on Bind this year, but that's mostly because they haven't had a chance to play it. It's been out of the rotation.
That's right. And we got Boomer Stones across the board. Personally happy about that. My favorite character. And we get the double duelist, courtesy of Zekin.
In theory, this comp for Sentinels looks fantastic. They have Marth and Pancada on smokes.
Yeah.
They're absolute home territory. They have Zekin and Tens. The firepower on double duelist is unbelievable. But it just comes down to how prepped
Execute.
they are. Yeah, like how good does the execution look? You can tell on Lotus that they hadn't got that much of a depth in the map pool, and they're going to be going up against a Cypher there. That's a bit unusual, like kill
That
trips
is
everywhere.
unusual. Yeah. This game is going to come down to which player is going to make the least amount of mistakes. I don't think we're going to be focused too much on like tactical or strategy or anything like that. It's just going to be which player makes the least amount of mistakes.
Fascinating, and we're gonna find out how this all plays out. Let's go ahead and send it over to your casters. It's of course the friendly neighborhood duo of Doug and Bala. Have fun.
I feel like we should be Mr. Rogersing somehow. Yeah. Hi.
Is that I just did that by accident.
I mean, you were close. Or something like that. I don't know. It's been a while. We have Bind. Bala. I'm so freaking excited, honestly, because it's just Bind, and I love the map, too. That helps.
Dude, I don't want to look at this map. I got O2 in Premiere this week.
Oh, too soon?
So, yeah, might be too soon. But look, Sentinels is running the comp that we should have run because, honestly, like the Des was saying, you're not going to see much in terms of the strategy. You're seeing a lot more about how these teams can abuse like certain gaps, how these teams can fire upon each other. And Doug, look at what is happening in the middle of the map.
Oh, boy. Oh, we're in for a treat right off the bat, aren't we?
Here we go, guys. Round one, and they're clashing.
Freaking 4v4. Tens already proc, already killed. Looking for the second. Sassy's close by. See the frenzies erupt. And somehow through all of that noise, it ends into 2v1.
Where did it go? The thing just ignored its targets. Went to go kill Pancada. Is his teammate? They're flipping.
They have to know, right? Given where it's landed and given their positioning. Perhaps a suspicion.
I think he must have broken the trip. That's why they're so confident about that. Which gun do you go for?
Plenty of choices. A lot of good skins in there, too. Cage going up.
Double face.
But they're so close, too. Oh! He's gotten them. He's gotten him isolated, but he's out of bullets. He was out of time and out of HP. Crew, get the pistol.
Maybe I do want to watch Bind. Let's turn this into an ARAM match. Just run down mid every round. Or not.
Yeah, we can only hope.
It's SEN this time. There's literally a 5-man stack.
I mean, just chaos.
Last player standing.
Just chaos. Yeah, we're in for a treat. A Marshall in the hands of Tens.
They're
Once
all
again, they're all
long.
stacked together.
It's gonna work!
That was a little help from Tens, but Zekin gets the kill.
Look at Ashedi right now, dashing down short. Trying to get into pipes before the team arrives.
Let's try to cut off some of these rotations.
He's gonna hear it. He's gonna hear 5 footsteps.
Smoked off, but he has a Bulldog. Well, 10 footsteps, right? One close by. Choosing not to flash. Now the spam erupting through the smoke. Iceman down. What more can they find? Smoke just delaying things for now.
I mean, that orb going back up there too.
They've got layers to this stuff.
This is, they're gonna die to the spike. Doesn't not look for any more kills except for Tens.
Reasonably looking for another.
I just feel like the call right there from Marv and Pancada and everybody who's alive is like, let's just make sure we die to the spike. Don't go for kills. No, Tens is just shooting. He's like, no, I want to. Look at the discipline for the 2 Brazilians.
Both sides of the spike, just as requested.
Okay, surely all 5 players don't go to the same side.
Blinded.
Down you go.
Nice reaction from Melser. Remember, we're only 2 rounds in, but this is a map. Yes, it's because it wasn't in the rotation the entire time, but there were 2-3 weeks where both teams avoided this map. They didn't want it. First rep for both.
Double duelist setup, you usually have one control on both sides, and then one of the duelists floats while the Raze stays A. We're gonna challenge in bathroom though. A spread default out of crew.
Yeah, kind of. They have 3 torch showers. Sentinels have 3 close by here as well. It's just in bunches.
Wow, 3 clear down short again is crazy.
It's aggressive.
And he wants it. Well, Ashetti's gonna go.
Oh! Nice response from Tens, avoiding disaster.
And the nade as well, delaying them out of bathroom too. You could have seen a reaction in there, which, given the information Ashetti saw, that would have been a free sight, at least a walk out of sight. They would have challenged them coming back out of short.
But the timing on the nade from second is perfect to keep them back.
Smoke out of Marv too. That flash spotting nothing down long right now is a big indicator. That flash also spots if they're walking up sand. If you get the timing right, it's perfect. So right now, Zekin and Tens, who just wanted to rotate a second ago, now can stay.
There's a confirmation too on that flash. Saucy just used the second one into sand. So off of that, they're starting to creep back towards A. The Brim smoke's down, confirm the suspicions. Marv the first one to take one down. Crew still haven't really gotten out. They haven't really found their footing.
And they can't save here. I mean, they have bonus weapons.
Davies with a big one.
They're locked out of bathroom. That's where the spike is right now. 20 seconds. They got to get out.
Davies needs to find a little bit more pressure here. Apply some presence to alleviate the pressure. In showers, and it's just a bit late.
And Zekin's reposition just is the nail in the coffin. He has to run to get the spike. I don't think you can get the shot off. No.
It's a valiant effort, but Sentinels on the board.
The information gathering on that was so good. I think something that you can tell happens a lot when you have a team that's kind of pugging it out versus a team that is trying to go for some defaults and stuff like that is those on bind a lot. It's 1-1-3s or 3-1-1s or something similar where a majority of the team, there's always a weak side.
One enemy.
So Sentinels just walking down, isolating Ashetti. That's going to happen a lot. You can tell that's a main factor in their game plan. It's for their duelists to call walkdowns.
They're going to walk down showers this time. Or at least close by. Meanwhile, dueling flash is traded towards B.
It just broke the cam, and I think actually... Davies, as the Cypher player, is able to control so much more than regular. Just having a Sentinel in this map. Obviously, Sentinels is lacking that in their composition. Oh, I mean, the amount of times I've seen that this game.
Yep.
The amount of times I've seen that this split is ridiculous.
Crew with plenty of options and a little over a minute to decide how they want this round to end. Melser 1 point away from the orbital strike.
With Saucy gone, it's a lot harder to react. You don't have the information from the flashes, and you also don't have any tools to actually go fight. So you honestly have to give up a lot of space. Neither of the B side extremities are being held right now. Mercada's lining up for A.
Yep.
Which is where Zekin is rotating to. Doesn't opt to use it.
30 seconds left.
Wisely, too. He uses Molly.
I don't think he saw him tuck in that corner.
No,
he could be spammed completely.
You know, off of the flash, it's difficult, but there it is. Heineken from behind the box gets 2.
Last player standing.
This is going to be another round for Sentinels. Once again, the spike sitting
10
well out
seconds
of
left.
Davies' reach.
I don't know how Marv gets there in time there. That Molly just did so much work on its own. Kuznet was out by himself. But nobody else out of crew able to get out, and Davies not regrouping with the team, looking to go for a lurk late in the round. Because of that man advantage. Off the initial pick from Klaus. And that's a huge round for Sentinels to win because they were low money. After that anti-bonus, they only had 2 survive there. Losing this one would have forced them to eco. Now it's the opposite situation.
One Vandal. for Crew in the hands of Kesnet. Pistols otherwise for the attacking side. And this feels like the first time Sentinels don't send a big bunch to deny space. It's a bit more spread out, Marved. Trying to deny some of the orb. I mean, you have Ashedi who's one point away from ult too. It's actually going to go over to Kesnet.
It's so interesting the difference in meta since the last time Bind was here because of that available teleport wall that goes from B to cover bathrooms or outside of showers. That's where people are focused on, and you don't have any Viper support except for the one-way. Actually, is there even a one-way? Probably not.
Cage 3.
Trade kill on short.
And that was the rifle, but it's picked up by Ashedi, who's instantly taking damage. Down to 70 HP. Klaus trying to make a play by himself, and he
Ambitious.
cannot.
Just incredibly ambitious.
Yeah. Flashing through the smoke, and
Seeker's also giving up the position right now. Saucy popped it in spawn.
30
They went all
seconds
the way
left.
towards A.
they have 2 rifles here. It's still a
Player
2v4.
standing.
Spike's down in bathroom too. Not only do they have to fight forward, but they have to then backstep, like spending so much time. That trade down short as well, Zekin and Tens had such a nice crossfire on Kesnet trying to come up. Top truck there and Tens as well. Top dice, or triple.
Sky's out. Spike spotted. And one enemy remaining.
Go.
Just essentially baiting for Zekin in that case. The interesting part about that Viper wall thing that I was talking about, oh, there's gonna be a walk down short again, excuse me. Yeah, actually Satchel with ult maybe? Off of contact with Tens?
He's abusing their wall. The gap that's left in the wall on the attacking side, Tench just fills into the space, gets a kill, and gets out.
And again, isolating that one in the default of Crew. So early in the round, you're losing the Cypher, and that lurk threat is gone.
Satchel out.
Kesnet looking for
Whoa!
a deep one.
I like it.
Almost connected.
It's pretty cool. See the response, second out.
Much closer, much more accurate, much more painful. Crew once again left into position. I believe this is his 3rd round, maybe 4th round in a row now, where members die. The spike is out of reach of the ones who remain for Crew.
And the decisiveness of second there on that raise is just so nice. And as well, Tens. I mean, when those two are playing like this, Marv's job is easy at this point. Tens is on 3 first kills already. Out of 7 rounds. Second's up there, 7 and 3 for him. It's ridiculous. It's low-key kind of what you wanted to see at the beginning of the season from these guys when they were running the double duelist so often. Back both at the Ludwig Tarek event and some of the maps on lock-in. I mean, they're getting so much freedom.
Yeah, they are, and I think it was primarily, I mean, Davies is just bullied. That guy never had a chance. Kesnet with a nice trade with the Sheriff, but
They've given up the site because of that. And again, remember the round that Crew won, Ashedi just dove straight up in the pipes.
now note here, Tens died. He lost the weapon, but it doesn't seem like Crew are in a place where they can go back and scoop it up.
Oh, absolutely not. He's his own vulnerable right now.
Not ready
close.
yet.
And that flash has got to be good to be able to hit both. None left. Just gonna wait things out. That orbital strike is gonna hurt. That's gonna hurt!
Got both!
One enemy remaining.
I mean, you waited patiently to get
It's
the
not
kill.
planted for him.
But that's it.
Oh, it is actually. What?
That hit
There's not time.
with the shorty.
Enemy remaining.
That's a kill onto 1.
It's getting decayed.
You're
Yeah, there's no time.
you're
Pankata has no time.
absolutely right. Unreal.
The fast flip from Crew is working so well, and Sentinels just can't get a grasp on that. When they're playing so aggressively, it's something that you have to be prepared for. And unfortunately, Sasi, who was, by the way, in a 1v2 in spawn for so long, had no help coming from the other side.
You only thought that was close.
Adam feeling good, crew feeling good as they've kept this one close.
Ten's got op. Peeking short or long here.
Flash confirming where they are. He's got the dash procced. That Trailblazer should play spoiler. Gets over the molly, stays alive.
A lot spent to push Tens out of that position. But does proc the dash out of him. What a, I mean, crazy position for Zekin. He has to fight on both sides of this wall, too.
The thing, it's this.
Nice.
I've got your trail.
Nate is going behind them right now. But it does split up the hit, so only 2 players from crew up. They're going to go for it again.
He's scaling so far up. Ooh, and he gets a kill onto Zekin.
Just pre-firing.
Spike planted.
Tens has arrived with the op, and he's up in heaven.
This is the big problem. Retaking is so frequent on bind. It's a big problem with running Jet at all on this map and opping on this map too, but the player's making it work through lamps. And Tens also, with the pressure applied, able to easily pick out.
Melser left all on his lonesome. And he can't do anything with it. One more pip going over in the hands of Marv as Sentinels take a 2-round lead.
And with the op in hands of Tens too now, it does enable some more aggressive lines, which is crazy to say given the fact that Sentinels has been so aggressive already. That is nasty from Marvin Saucy. Just easily clearing out shorties of lamps. That's not easy to do.
One more pip going over in the hands of Marv.
Especially, there was no Trailblazer there. There was nothing really for them to go. They were just dry. And they forced Nico out of crew again. Judge in the hands of Kesnet. The double satchel and lamps is very powerful, but look at Zekin. He's actually backed up all the way up to heaven.
I think, too, it looks like the wall may be minorly adjusted. It's a little bit further over. They're getting smoked off. You see the hit. Yeah, the double satchel's out onto the site. Into lamps where Judge is waiting.
And remember, Marvin Saucy cleared this easily last time, but this time a Judge instead of the shorties. But the flanks, they got through. Somehow they got over that tripwire with the updraft of Tens. They heard it though.
Davies looking to challenge. That should have been the room for him to punish. And now they understand where he is. They're mauling him off. He's eating all of that damage. Swings out, gets cleaned up by the Phantom after all. Still a little messy there, but that's all right.
And it's crazy. Kesnet, I mean, he just came in from the backside there.
Yep.
Kesnet saw no action until he has to fall off on the regular angle that he wants to play. And these flanks are getting abused. It's funny because I was thinking, coming into this, looking at the comps, Sentinels are going to be the ones who have to deal with that. They have to deal with the aggression constantly, the flanks constantly. But crew is getting eaten apart on these extremities.
Very well, it could be a key topic of discussion as we enter the first timeout of the map called by crew. Down 3 rounds here.
So here, that was a really nice triple flank because Tens updrafts over, they hear him, they're setting up a trap for him, he goes for the shot, and instantly that tripwire gets broken because it's so close to where Tens is looking for the pick. They're able to actually protect him. That's why Davies can't punish. And all that aggressiveness is netting Sentinels a massive lead in those first duels. 7-2 for Sentinels. Tens is 5-1, Zekin is 2-0. I mean, all on those 2 guys too, to take those early engagements.
That's what you want out of your stars.
I mean, the rest of the 3 are very passive when it comes to those first duels. They never want to die first.
Right.
Because they've been trained, because so many of them, I mean, Saucy played the Initiator for so long, he was the king of KD, king of staying alive. Then, obviously, Pancata and Marv both play the controllers. Marv was more aggressive than anybody. But the Brim here is so important to keep alive. And also, he's not looking for those lurks himself. He's not the playmaker that you see when he's playing on that attack side.
Right. But he's still somehow 11-4. He's still somehow top fragging for his team.
Yeah, he's cleanup, man.
We will hurt them.
10 seconds, just rip the front line apart, and Marv just comes up and sweeps him the rest of the way.
It's the same molly that they tried to use to deny Ten's either peeking on this tight angle or getting away once he's been flushed out of the angle he's currently in, but it's a little bit delayed here, so that Molly's not going to do very much right now at all.
And they don't even really try to challenge even that long position.
Yeah.
I think a big factor of that is them trying to deny them from going for any sort of aggression. Before regrouping, and here's the regroup. Second has his ult though. But Brimble, he's still in laps.
He doesn't take a single tick of damage. Flushed out, stays healthy.
He can ult over top of this whenever there's the plant.
And there it is, on to Kesnet. Ten's used his ult as well. The blade finding, connecting onto Klaus.
They're planting the flick.
Looking for more. He's 3 on the round. That flick was filthy.
I mean, what?
All right, surely we get to look at that one again.
Oh, I'm so glad he's back. This guy is insane. For as much crap as he gets, he is one of the most, I mean, just raw talent out of 10s. Every time I cast his games, there's a moment where I'm just speechless.
It's just
jaw to the
freaking
floor.
Good. Yep. All right, we're not gonna get to look at that one again. All good though. It'll be on Twitter. It's the same default setup out from KRU, using the Viper wall, going
They have the timing to spam.
straight up. I mean, he has exits too. He does have one satchel.
Remember, there's been instances where he wants to. Oh, never mind. He realizes they're so close.
And that's the cue to bust out the shorty.
Hard with the first kill.
Down A.
He's got ult here too. I mean, this is going to be devastating from KRU.
Yeah, it is.
Blinded.
4 pistols,
Spam.
Spike planted.
just barely missing. Did some damage though. Class with 62 HP left. Tekken's really patient, man. I'd be.
Oh, he just got naded. Is he going to get rewarded?
Try to funnel him in. Yeah, there it goes. The long-awaited shorty kill. I mean, the build-up to that one was insane. There was payoff, though. There was payoff.
Yeah, KRU's map pick not going so well right now.
Nope. A flawless round for Sentinels. And really, I mean, a couple little things notwithstanding, it
Last
feels like a
round
flawless
before the
half for
switch.
Sentinels, too.
Yeah. I mean, outside of that pistol. And the rounds where they're able to flip the site.
And the truth is, that pistol that you were just mentioning, remember, it was a 4v4 in short. It was chaotic. It could have gone either way.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Enemy remaining.
And I need to remind, not only do they have to go pretty clean in terms of maps, Tenz is actually going for that same walkabout past that Viper wall, but it did get adjusted like you said. Not only do they have to go flawless in maps, but they also have to have a good round differential in order to win out tiebreakers, if they could even make it past this team here, KRU, and next week's Furia.
Well,
Whoa,
good
sand
job.
crunch.
Yep, look at the pinch.
I know it.
How? How does he get another? That's criminal.
It's Tenz and Zekin. Raise ult for Kezen. He can definitely end up cleaning out this round.
Spike planted.
Does Tenz have access to anything else? Wonder if they left a rifle or something back in spawn? No. I think it's just the op.
He dodged it? Excuse me? Goodbye. Oh.
Close. 35 HP.
Tenz is starting to get activated out of spawn right now. He's just walking out. They didn't peek him in elbow.
Fire in the hole. Last player
It's a key
standing.
for the swing, and Zekin dies.
Last round 2 has to pop it.
Yep.
It's just doing such a good job at buying time, too, buying some space, and I don't think you're going to get a raise ult much easier than that.
Switching sides.
I'll take a look at that one more time. I mean, seriously, he had been bit by the Trailblazer. There was a nade in his lap, and he still manages to get 2.
I think the big thing there, though, he was playing passive in that. And so they're falling away from that sand crunch.
Yeah, it's very well done. Either way, an 8-4 for Sentinels. We're going to throw it down to Josh one more time, dangerously. This time he's at the telestrator, though. How much trouble could he possibly cause there?
There's no trouble whatsoever. Thank you, Doug. Appreciate it. Let's take a look at round 4 here. And I'm going to be illustrating the way in which Sentinels is playing loose, and it's just ended up being too much for Crew. So to start things off, let's have a look at the minimap over here, and you can see that what's going on is Crew are looking to go for a B long push. They're pushing in here. There's currently 4 players over on the B side, but that is all going to change. So we're going to run this play out. And you see that what happens is they come up, they get this kill onto Sassy. It's through a smoke. What's going on there then? So they end up getting a nade and they back up a little bit. Things settle down. Now, crucially, what you may have just noticed is that TenZ spotted these players retreating. He got a look at that, and he's on a decent line to be able to give his team consistent info. Instead of doing that, though, he decides to rotate. That's a perfectly fine decision to go for. But as we move things forward and speed stuff up, you can see that what that does is it actually means Sentinels don't have the information anymore towards B long. And if we pause things at about the 45-second mark here, what you'll notice is Zekken decides to use his boombot to re-clear B long. So this is an important piece of informational tool for the defenders because it lets them know if people are still there, if they're going for a re-hit. That does not see anything, and that means that it's going to inform all sorts of rotates happening. We take a look at the minimap again, and these people are going for a re-hit because they know that they've got bad info. These players are going for the rotate. Things are happening here. And yet, at the 30-second mark, for whatever reason, these players start to come back. Obviously, these players are on the re-hit, right? Crew are going for this as their strat. But if you take a look at the minimap, Zekken had just decided to turn things around. Don't worry, we'll take a look at the minimap in a second. Zekken had just decided to turn things around and come back to the site. Later on, TenZ comes through hookah, he goes for a dash onto site, Pancada throws out a molly, and they completely destroy this hit. They're playing fluid, they're rotating, they're finding their options to be able to go from site to site, and it has just ended up being overwhelming. We'll send things back into the next half where the double duelist should go even better.
A terrifying prospect, too, if you consider the fact that Sentinels are already up 4 rounds leading into the second half with the map lead, Ball.
Yeah. I mean, they have such, you can tell they have a good understanding of how to counter out the basic stuff that Crew were throwing on the attack side. And Josh is alluding to the fact that they're now on this attack side themselves, so that double dive is going to be so crazy.
Very similar wall to what we saw in the first half from Fsheti, but this time from Pancada. What is that trip?
How did that not break?
Yeah.
Oh, that was Kesnit's nade.
Oh, that'll be why. There's a nade that we were looking for. Pushing Davies off the site. Trying to create some of that space as Pancada is able to get one, but Melser's been able to hold things back quite nicely until falling.
Still 3v3, Kesnit does have backside control still. Sentinels looks like they want to go for a flash out once it comes back up.
Last player standing.
That's a frenzy from a distance. Very well done. But still much to do here. Klaus, that was winnable. Look at how weak Sassy and Marv were. Either way, Sentinel's getting another one. Is that all 4 pistols? Oh, no, 3 or 4?
Yeah, Crew won the first one on this map, so 3 out of 4. And this one, I feel like the gun rounds have gone way, way better for Sentinels too, despite what was happening on Lotus. There, that flash out from Sassy, so good to continue the sense of pressure onto the back of site, especially because Kesnit was alone back site for so long.
It's just so, I mean, with the changes to the site, it's so miserable to try to hold back site by yourself. There really is nowhere to play.
Also, credit to them to group up that fast, because that call from Sassy was 2 seconds, my flash is back up, and they both were there.
Going back to that decisiveness that we've seen from Sentinels that Josh was talking about, that you've talked about as well. TenZ's Carp was way forward with the Marshall. Marv has a rifle. Zekken does too.
No push on this side of the map, though. Allows Sentinels to start to regroup right now. Wall comes down too. Pancada clearing bathroom.
Oh.
And Melzer is the one who could peek here. He's might end up doing
close. Yep. Oh, he hit him.
Here's the flash too. They just cycled the wall, the orb. They're through on the A site, and there's nobody here for this plant. It's open plant too.
Sassy's gonna be the first close by. Pancada with a little spam. Yeah, this is going to be very similar to what we saw previously, where it just looks like they're attempting to force something, but likely will all meet their demise. Klaus has upgraded a weapon, but...
Yeah. And the open plan allows TenZ to play so far back too. The players in bathroom have a chance to swing that.
Still got it.
Yeah, you do, Mard. We know.
One enemy remaining.
They lost 2 rifles.
They did.
And Nakata's not actually able to recover it. One of those bulldogs. So that's not the cleanest anti-eco. But I don't think they care too much.
Nope. At this point, doesn't have to be pretty. Just has to get him there, and that's exactly what that does.
I mean, who knows? It might actually have to be pretty for them to make a playoff run. That's what we're talking about. It's not just this series. At this point, we have a pretty good grasp of what the path has to be.
Get through crew, win this series, win next week as well. So they know what's before them. It's all about executing now.
Out of all the teams who have a chance still at playoffs, Sentinels has the least possibility, 6% of all the outcomes. So it would be a miracle run for them.
And the miracle would have to start here. Remember, we saw a 10-4 lead in the previous map that ended up going to OT. Sentinels looking for a much closer, much cleaner close things. Wonder here what they're waiting for. I wonder if there's enough contact. This orbital strike could be problematic, and there it is! They're all there! Nobody dies, but yeah, damage was dealt.
Saucy has heal. He gets the kill. Ashadi. I mean, they TP'd on the other side too. They've completely flipped it. Kestet's here.
Yeah, he's already ahead of it, man. He was halfway across the map when the teleporter went off. So he knew where the play was going.
Can't get the spike, he just got it. And the Vandal too. 30 seconds to pivot. What a chaotic round.
The fact that they're able to reset this is insane.
I'm surprised that Klaus is staying. He doesn't actually know because Pankata did not TP. Whether or not he's flipped around.
Kasnet looking showers. That's a big one. That's the spike. That's the round.
He's got nade too. Back up.
Wait, can he still get this down?
He didn't even pick it up.
Oh, where is it?
Where is it? No time.
He had a shot at that.
Yeah, he did, but the nade was going to deny him the plan anyways. Shoot back, Kesnet. Come on, man.
You gotta finish the song, yeah. Damn it, Kesnet was ahead of this the entire time. 5-round lead for Sentinels, but a timeout called by KRU. Also the last one of the map.
Sentinels isn't called a single one, so if they can start to bring this back after this timeout, they'll have another chance at talking to Adam. I do want to point out, Sentinels a lot slower than they were on Lotus to start out that map. It seems like the end of that, where they were really working on catching those rotates out, or forcing those rotates out, has been a continuing theme for them, despite not really knowing exactly how KRU is playing on this defense so far. When it comes to the gun rounds, that was just the first one. And KRU react with the anti-bonus.
Wasn't it at this exact time that we had an early timeout from KRU and Lotus? Just 3 rounds in.
Yeah. Right after the anti-bonus, yeah. It's the exact same situation. This one's different. It's the second half, so I feel like I don't feel it's as surprising.
What may be surprising is that there is a double timeout. KRU got theirs, and then Sentinels is going to use one of theirs as well. So a little bit more time to think things through, to talk things out.
Very interesting. And Kaplan's not even a contributing factor. You saw it, just as it was called.
Which kind of begs the question, who's the one talking then? It's not Cap. You imagine it's Marv, who's again making his IGL debut on Sentinels. He does have a history of it. Did it in FaZe way back in the day. Seems like an eternity to go at this point.
Yeah, the tail end of FaZe.
Yeah.
When right before he switched to that Envy roster, and turned into Optic.
Who turned into NRG.
Who turned it, well, kind of.
Yeah.
kind of. Big discussion on both sides now. That was 2 minutes of raw strat discussion. Let's spin the wheel, see what comes out, Sentinels.
We'll see what's different here. You see the buy for crew. They've got a couple of Spectres, but rifles to work with around it. It seems like they may... No, they're not set up to go super quick here. I thought there may be like a double satchel setup or something.
I mean, there could be. Yeah.
You're just used to seeing that from box.
Yeah, especially when you still do have that stim. But Marv's on the other side of the map too. Molly lands though, and they do take bathroom control. Much different approach. You were seeing them fight a lot for long B. But you actually had Melzer throw out an early smoke, deep long B, and they've left Davies alone here.
I have the spike.
So Sassy with control of showers. The spike picked back up. I mean, they have every single lane covered. They have eyes on sand. Well, they had eyes on sand until just a moment ago. They're watching short. Ten's just checked long. They can split this B. But Melzer's staring right at showers, which is where most of the numbers from Sentinels will be. Waiting for the smokes to drop. And there it is. They need the flash to clear bench.
Molly.
Do you have a molly to
30
kind of
seconds
keep things back? Yeah, the nade is going to help too. They try to funnel their way out of showers and they get through, but they're beaten. They're battered for it.
Spike down A.
Spike now down. Ashadi in a really good position here. He has to try to make a play. You see him running across, trying to control the spam. He's got the spike. He's out.
14 seconds. The cam is up. The trips are up. So
10 seconds
repositioning is
left.
going to be difficult for Zekken after he gets the plant down, which he will do.
Where can he play this? He still has an 8, and that's the ult.
Yeah, that's huge actually.
No satchels.
Oh God!
He's caught, and he's blind. No help. That's a tragic way to go.
Oh, poor Zekken, man.
Truly tragic. Davies is going to finish off the defuse. Now 1 pip away from having his ult online.
Still, remember, Zekken got his on the last instances of that. Kesnadarian just continues to have some impact. And again there, Sentinels just goes after that bathroom control, but slow still. It was so long until they actually executed, and that's why Zekken has to make that mad dash. That's why he doesn't have time to take. Feels like we had this scoreline on Lotus too. It is a fist fight.
Once again, a little Shower's presence. This time the Trailblazer paving the way while the rest of Sentinels are creeping towards A.
Wow.
The buy's not great, but there is some investment in this. Just a little, just enough. The Kesnet with already 3 on the round has not been moved off of the angle up in heaven.
Player standing.
Nade 2 just destroying Marv. 4 goes for that plant.
Don't die now.
It smells just Molly. He would have died if that was Marv's. Suicide Molly?
Flawless.
A flawless round out from Cruz. They get to 7.
No more doubts. We're ready.
We'll take a look at that one more time again. Kesnet was
It's ridiculous.
the main architect of that round.
How many times has Kesnet gotten 2 nades in these rounds? Oh, and the spam too.
Yeah.
He's making Rays look like beta Rays right now, where they had 2 nades to start. It's crazy.
All right, remember the last time we saw Zekken in this position?
Yeah, it
The
was a
satchel
double
didn't
satchel.
short. Yep. Looking to take some pace and perhaps get... No, it's not for Pancata, who's 1 point away. They just want to take the space.
Missed flash there, but Melzer doesn't want any of that anyways.
Poison orb emitting.
Crew's been doing a good job rotating off of Davies' information. And also the proactiveness of Klaus. He's just jump spotting down B long right now. He flashed early, didn't spot anything.
Still has one and the Trailblazer too.
And this time as well, no info on A allows them to be really comfortable, especially given the last time they went for that backroom control, they went for an A hit. So they know they want to pivot. They don't want to do the same thing twice.
2 trips here. Klaus close by. Davies not far off either.
How come they can't get out here?
I mean, they're just decayed, right? You try to funnel your way out, and you've got the Viper wall, you're taking damage.
Waiting for these trips. There's a kill trip.
Oh!
Welcome to my world.
That would have been disgusting.
Yeah, that would have been really sick. We've been robbed. Either way, 4v4 here, the pit down. And the spike planted. Marv does ult. Showstopper doesn't get very much.
They're playing for mollies right now, and Marv's Brim ult. Pancata's delaying so long with this pit.
Molly.
There's Molly.
Nobody's on site right now. Woo. And they might not even clear Pancata.
Davies almost snuck up on him there.
There's no chance in this round anymore.
No.
Get out of my way.
Yeah, you've
1-2
taken
combo.
it, but there's just not enough time here.
Prepare for hellfire.
Hey, well done by crew to draw out the orbital strike.
One enemy
He
remaining.
walked back into it. Oh,
And Marv cleans up the round.
no. It's starting to get ugly in some of these instances.
Yeah. This time Ashedi has a pit of his own. We haven't really seen him use it proactively, not seen him use it right off the bat as soon as the barrier goes down. We'll see if that's the case this time. Meanwhile, crew feeling some of the pressure from what Sentinels has done in the showers. This time they're investing 2 there in both Melser and Kesnet.
And they stemmed out to get ahead of that flash that Sentinels might have thrown. And to get ahead of the mollies too that come in that instance. But it's the long B control instead. Flash on to Klaus. Boombot to clear, and I think they want to avoid hookah given what that holdup. I mean, they won the round, but that could have been really bad. They were so slow to jump out. I think worried about the trips as well. The flip on the map right now. So much room to pivot. They've left 10s as well.
The Trailblazer pushes up further into the site, while Pancata is left to deal with the pit that's before him. And they're going to rotate off. You're right, they've left 10s there. That Trailblazer's going to spot. Is that drawing of the rotates? Yes, it is.
Oh my gosh, Ashedi making a massive play down the pit.
You're still going to have to get past all these trips. I mean, look at him. The first one down. But again, the wall that we talked about. He's delaying for now. Davies, what a rat. Anyone dare try to funnel. Anyone dare try to waterfall, and it's right into his crosshair.
Down B.
Traded back though.
3v2, Spike's still not planted. That's a good one. He's gonna look for another, and he gets it. He's got a 1v1. Dashing away. 66 HP. Time, short, health, low. And Ashedi gets the clutch.
1v1 against the guy who just hit 2 1-taps on your team. My goodness. Crew's making this a game again.
Yeah, they are.
And it's a much different situation. I know the scoreline ended up the same because the Sentinels coming out and winning those first 2 rounds of the half. But Lotus was 6-6. This first half was 8-4. Sentinels are going to spend their last time out. Remember, they used one off the back of Crew's last as well. Just waiting for the opportunity to swing, especially based off some sound cue out of 10s, who has to jump up and get that spike. Davies did such a good job locking down hookah when they were pivoting, and Sentinels looked like they were trying to go for like around the world strats.
Plenty of signs in the crowd today. Valorant over mom on Mother's Day? Really? I'm disappointed. Who was that?
I mean, look at you. You're here. Got you, bro. We're all here, man.
4 of the last 5 going in favor of Crew to keep it competitive.
I love what I just heard in the crowd. Somebody just said, I don't know. I love my mom.
Again, 4 of the last 5 in favor of Crew. They're keeping it competitive. They're keeping it close. The buy for Sentinels is ugly. But maybe Tens can do something with these blades. Second dashing forward. They've gotten past the nades. They've gotten a kill onto Kesnet. And they funneled him out of U-Haul. I thought he was going to get a shot on Ashedi.
One down.
Rounds are so difficult to deal with. You've got shorties, you've got blades, you've got classics.
It's happening.
It's closer than it should be. It's way closer than it should be. He has 12 HP here. And they should know where he is, given
Player
what's
standing.
gone off with the ult. Not able to connect on the shots. Crew handle the chaos well and get to 9.
That was a big opportunity there for Sentinels. They had low weapons and they made it really chaotic. Those were the scrappy rounds that you're looking for them to close out this game. They just need, in my mind, one of these non-ult rounds to end up converting this game. Out of the last 3 rounds, they're gonna get one of those ult rounds. So this is a key win factors right now. Try to convert on some of those early control that you're getting. If you can win one of those, then you just have to rely on, I mean, remember that Viper's Pit with the Brim ult combination was so devastating for Crew to get through. Meanwhile, Crew, on their side too, these anchors are doing so well for them. And I think early in the half, you saw them rotating off and taking gambles. They don't need to do that. You can tell Davies, Klaus, everybody really committing to the anchors, and they're getting 2Ks almost every time.
Yeah, they're locked in. It's been such a part of their success to get up until this point. Got 4 down long. Pankata waiting to see if Enzine's going to be flanking around. The Trailblazer went under the trip. They didn't clear it. They're trying to spam it out as well, and they haven't been able to. That's a problem. Yeah, it is. Second's dead off of that.
Spike down B.
Crew once again able to keep things back.
They saw him. They saw him.
That's
Noting his position, and they got a 2v1.
How?
There's no flank coming in. Hashedi's coming in from spawn.
Toxins going up.
Plant gonna go down for Marv, and he's gonna have that Brim ult now.
Toxins.
Pankata's falling back to guard, and can Marv get there too? Oh my goodness.
That's key for Marv. That's key for Sentinels. You mentioned that it's all about the ult rounds. Get one without the ult, and you're basically able to lock this up. They get theirs, and they have the orbital strike carrying into this potentially last round.
Well, it depends how they use it right now, because right now they're low money. Crew is also gonna have a light buy too. And they have 3 rounds of buffer. From what I'm seeing right now, if I'm Sentinels, I would have loved to have this last time out that they don't have available to them right now, because I want to actually wait for another ult cycle from Saucy, from Zekin, for maybe Pankata to close out. But Marv actually looked like he wanted to use his orbital strike early in this round and maybe got called off.
Very similar look to what we saw in the previous round.
Tens is heating up.
Yeah,
I mean, he's going for those one taps. It's like he's in flow state.
Davies has already been pushed off of this early stuff. They've used the Seekers.
Good clearance here.
Second's going in. They both fill into that space. Do they scale into elbow?
Can they clear Davies too? Do they know he's there?
There's orbital strike. Second repositioning. You hear the ult used as well by Kesnet. Just
He's trying
creating
to throw
more
it
chaos.
into the vent right there.
Creating
don't
more
know.
chaos. You're right. They never cleared him. He gets 3 and now an upgraded weapon.
And where did that molly come from too? It's perfect. Out of the players from Crew.
They have no idea. Look at Kesnet. He's going all the way back A, not understanding that Saucy's behind him with the spike. They're just guessing at this point. And yeah, you're allotted the benefit of that, given the fact that you have teleporters.
Oh, that camera is so close to spotting the crosshair from Saucy.
30 seconds left.
30 seconds. He's gonna go for a 1v2 to close out the map
30 HP.
and the series.
Cleared.
Kesnet's gonna go through the TP. They're double approaching through hookah, but Saucy is not aware of where Davies repositioned. He hears them both now though.
That's a big one. Not able to land. Davies with 4 on the round. His Crew get another. Man, this is now 2 maps where it feels like Crew are at a position where they're just going to fold, where they're just going to roll over, and they just show so much grit.
Unfortunately, it's that same situation that they've been in over and over and over, trying to hang on to series
All year.
rather than being in control of them. And they're still 1 round away from going winless into the last week.
Oh, the buy for Sentinels isn't great, is it?
No, it's not, but Marv, Zek can have those ults. So we're looking at a final round that is going to be super, super explosive, especially if they can give a focus on Pancata getting at least 1 orb here.
That's a deep orb. You hear them. There it is, the utility going up. Ashetti's going to want to peek around it.
That's a big mistake. That's where the few Phantoms, they only had 3 this round.
I suppose the benefit of having 2 controllers is you could afford something like that, but Meltzer's about to get pushed out of that angle. It's a bite right out of his cheeks.
He got
and
stunned,
now
they
he's
know.
dead. You gotta be careful of the showstopper. It could be friendly, and it was. Zek overheats a little bit.
That's one of the ults used. With the 2 kills, they're going for this.
They still have 1 left. They only have 1 Phantom. Did they gamble a little too much?
Swapped. Just for a second there. I mean, this Cypher will give so much information. Pancata has a molly. 1 might be out already.
There it
Second
is.
one out too.
Marv
They have the Pim ult as well.
There it is.
They combined to vulnerable that.
He's not in a
That's
position.
early.
He's not in a position to help.
Only I could see you.
He's just got a shorty.
Remaining.
Oh my gosh.
To end it.
Can he do it like this? First misses, the second does not! A Red Bull clutches Sentinels stay alive!
Pancata gotta have some of the most ridiculous share of clutches. And to do it with that, I mean, that is disgusting.
What a freaking way to finish it, man. Last bullet. That was all he had.
Last bullet, last health point. Just ridiculous. And we have to say it. This Sentinels miracle run is alive. I mean, it's still very, very improbable. But man, they win over KRU. And a lot of people doubted them because of how many changes. Again, their 4th major change, and it works out here in week 7. And it looks like, honestly, room for improvement, too.
Yep. And what a return from Tens, man. He was so good.
God, man. I mean, the amount of times he was just running out on that B side and just looking for 1-taps, ridiculous.
And how many of them he delivered, too.
Yeah.
Not just being pacey, not just applying pressure, but converting in those instances. Tens was good. Second was good.
Yeah.
Marv is currently undefeated as the IGL of Sentinels. I mean, what's not to like for Sen City, huh?
Thank you, little stat man. It's crazy. Hey, I think you could tell the difference between Lotus, their map pick, and this map pick on the attack side.
That crowd went nuts. I love too how, I mean, just even their approach coming into this series, the fact that you were willing to go into buy.
Yeah.
The fact that you took an instant jump on Lotus, which had been KRU's perma all season.
Yeah.
Just goes to show once again, it's a testament to Cap and the work he's putting in, and testament to Drew Spark and the work he's putting in too.
Low key, I mean, KRU actually with the veto pushed them into a very uncomfortable space by allowing Lotus, saying, hey, yeah, come on, let's do it. Let's dance on the map that you have no clue how we play. And then as well behind, which obviously a team who's going through so much, I don't want to say turmoil, but just so many changes in general. It's not going to be prepped. Saw evidence of that on the attack side, but that defense side was just too strong for that to really even matter. Great debut from Marv as the IGL. And honestly, even despite the chances for them going to playoffs, even despite the miracle run, you still even look even further to LCQ and down the line. And I think things are looking very promising.
very promising. Yeah, it probably feels like the best way to explain it. Once again, Sentinels take things down 2-0. They get past KRU. They keep their season alive, and they do so in, in pretty beautiful fashion.
It sets up this wonderful game next week against Furia for Sentinels, because for both sides, now it's going to be do or die. For this match, KRU, they were out of the running. It didn't really matter for them.
Right.
Next week, Sentinels versus Furia, I mean, it matters for both sides.
Yep. A sigh of relief for Sen City. Let's throw back to GB in the desk to break down this opening series.
Oh boy, Sen City's gonna have a mean house party tonight because they walk away with the win 2-0 and look good doing it. And they felt good too. You could see the team as the match had concluded. Immediately, Zekin gets up, goes to the homie. Oh, let me go ahead and fix my chain. And it's just like, you did it, you did it. And Pancata looks at him, he's like, that's what I do. I read his lips, he said, that's what I do. Man is an absolute legend. What a game that was, though. And I think it just goes to show that, like, you really can't judge a book by its cover, especially when it comes to the Sentinels team, Josh.
I mean, the way in which the fans think about the Sentinels team is an all-star squad of people that can pop off at any moment. And actually, I feel like the way this match ended was Pancata popping off.
Yeah.
He gets a 1 HP clutch towards the end. It's ridiculous.
Even with that win, though, they still have a 16% chance to make playoffs, even with that win.
Yeah, I mean, they can actually beat Furia, and they still might have a bunch of other things that need to go their way. And, you know, there's also a really strong chance that things end in massive 4-way tiebreakers, where their map differential is incredibly important, and they're -3 at the moment, even after this win. So not only do they need to beat Furia, they need a clean win over Furia, and it was still scrappy against KRU. It was fun, though.
Yeah, I think today was a must-win for them to keep their hopes alive. And, you know, I think we saw a lot of, like, just 10s in flow state, and a lot of aim labs looking shots out there. He looked great.
Yeah, and that's kind of what you needed to have happen for TenZ. He's been out of the game for a little while now, obviously, you know, taking some time off, and then he comes back into this role. You need him to be the TenZ that does TenZ things, and he was that, Josh.
Can I be the Debbie Downer for a second?
Oh, please, Debbie, be the downer.
Can I be Lady Deborah Downer for a moment?
Okay, Deborah Downer, please.
Okay, Sentinels still have a very low chance of being able to make it to the playoffs.
Of course.
They're looking for things that they can hold on to moving forwards into NALCQ. They are really disadvantaged up against Furia. They're probably not going to make it, as judged by the 84% chance they miss out on playoffs.
Fair.
Do you both think that what we saw today was a really solid base that they can build on in the future? Were you impressed by this? Because I feel like there's still a lot of turmoil in there.
I was impressed, but I do think it was a Band-Aid.
Oh,
and that, I think, is one of the issues, right?
Yeah.
Is because Sentinels have just applied Band-Aid upon Band-Aid upon Band-Aid all season long.
And it's just becoming, like, more and more, like, apparent. Like, you know, the
Interesting. So I'm of the different side of it, Deborah. Deborah Downer.
Yeah,
because
that's Mrs. Downer to you, actually.
Mrs. Downer didn't know. But yeah, I feel like what we saw here today was, at the very least, like, take what you have here and build. This is buildable, in my opinion. I think based off what you said, seeing Saci and Zekin step into those roles, Zekin's a young player, Saci's a world champion. You have two people of conflicting, you know, like pathways working together, as well as having Marv in there. It could get to a point where there's too many cooks, but I would really like to see them go back and refine this, Josh.
I think it's interesting just in general, what plan they go for towards the future, to be honest, because they've had so many problems with getting things sorted. Their core roles have always been an issue, and that also didn't get solved except on Bind, where they didn't run a Sentinel. And you can't do that on every map.
Yeah, it's very true. It's very true. But guys, you know what? Let's go ahead and get some answers. Why don't we? And send it down over to the stage, because we got the homie Dryad standing by with TenZ for the Verizon post-match interview.
Thank you so much, GB. And I'm over here with TenZ after a victory 2-0 against KRU. And TenZ, we're happy to have you back. Can you tell me what it's been like to be back to this new version of Sentinels?
Yeah, it's been really nice to be back. Obviously, amazing crowd here. And it's just pretty fun to get back into playing.
Yeah, and we're definitely happy to see you. The audience is always supporting you, as always. And one thing that I wanted to ask you was, when it comes to comms, I think that's been a topic of conversation, knowing that Dep is no longer the IGL, no longer playing with you guys. And there's been rumors, there's been people talking about Marv being the new IGL. Is this now official. Can you tell me how the comms are working today?
Yeah, so Marv is picking up our IGL role currently. He's doing a really good job with it. Obviously, we're not as structured since it was kind of like a last-minute thing with like this whole roster, and we're kind of playing with the flow and trying to see if we can vibe with each other and play, and most importantly, have fun.
And you're saying playing with the flow, but you know, it's been over 500 days since we last saw this kind of matchup against KRU and Sentinels going against each other. For this new version of KRU as well that we got to see today, even though you're going with the flow, is there any sort of preparation that you're going for? Maybe one player that you're looking at?
Obviously, like, you can't underestimate any teams going into any match. Like, it can be anyone's match at the end of the day if they're playing really well, if they're flowing well. So we just got to make sure that we're prepared for what they're doing. We're going to make sure that we're prepared to know what we're doing and to play our best.
And one thing I wanted to ask you as well is I remember seeing a video of you saying that obviously on top of getting insane kills, you're also always supporting the team when it comes to the communication. Now with this new IGL, is it still, even though Marv is the IGL, is it kind of everybody also boosting that energy, boosting the supporting? What kind of role you play into that?
Yeah, so Kaplan mentioned when I came back, he really liked the energy that I bring into the team. I can be quite like a zoomer, similar to like Zach. Like he's really fun to have on the team just because he's really easy to vibe with. And ultimately, I think a good environment will lead to good team play.
And I want to ask you, how are you feeling about the season overall? It's still not the easiest one. A lot of changes that we've seen for Sentinels, you being out a couple of weeks, and now only having that last match against Fury. How are you feeling for the match and what can be maybe making it to playoffs, maybe making it till the last chance and having that deep run there?
Yeah, so looking at the last match against Furia, obviously we're going to try our best. We're going to really like prepare for the match, and hopefully, like, I mean, we're not banking on getting into playoffs, but if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. So we'll be here. We're going to be preparing for LCQ if that happens, and we'll be prepared for the future.
All right, we're excited to see what's going to be more of Sentinels and E10s. Thank you so much. We're going to send it to a break, but on the other side, you don't want to miss it. It's energy and loud.
Sen City is looking to be bumping tonight, but watch out because the KRU is moving in, and KRU have everything to gain and nothing to lose.
High Tide denying some of the vision. And forget about denying vision. I guess it doesn't matter if we're going to land the shots regardless. Ooh, 3K for second. No cue that's where they are, but they're going to push into the panel. They're going to push into Pakata. He's flashed. He still gets a kill.
Huge from Pakata there.
Nice run. Nice.
Got Kaznit with the odds. We were just saying, 2 traded back. What I don't know if they saw was Marv slipping through. Even if things go sideways, he gets his. The wall. Oh, but he pushes aggressive. Ashadi's a lunatic. Sentinels take map 1.
See the response, second out.
Much closer, much more accurate, much more painful. Ten's used his hold as well. The blade finding, connecting on the clouds.
They're planting the flick.
Looking for more. He gets 3 on the round. That flick was filthy.
I mean, what?
Oh my gosh. Can he do it like this? First misses, the second does not. A Red Bull clutches. Sentinels stay alive.